What's this?
That's our sync clappable. Give it a good slap for us.
You're serious?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Film star.
This is about messaging to the family, not just my daughters, but the grandkids and the future generations. I have one particular memory of a couple walking who clearly were in their 90s, holding hands. I think it was in Vaduz. It reminded me of a saying that my grandmas used to say to me, which is good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. And as you traveled the Alps, you saw families together. Well, the Coppa Delle Alpi is the race through the Alps. The Alps extend through 7 European countries, and they've never done it this extensive. So this was 5 days, about 1,300 miles, I think 2,200 kilometers. It was a route that basically touched all of the villages, the old towns that comprise the Alps. My co-driver is Paul McCarthy. Paul's a retired Delta pilot, a former Navy pilot, and he actually is my next door neighbor, and we've known each other 35 years. Very good friends, great navigator. Well, Nicole Snowden is basically the den mother. Make sure that we're all in the right place at the right time. And then the chief mechanic is Alex Skinner, and Alex basically built this car and then rebuilt this car and rebuilt it again. And then Dave McNaughty, was the support mechanic and a good guy. It's not just the preparation, it's as you go through these routes, the crew is keeping you safe and, checking the car every time you stop.
I have to get everybody there. I have to make sure that we know where Jeff is coming into, where the team are coming into, that we have hotels ready and prepared.
We drove the 1955 the XK140 fixed-head coupe. I love the racing through these extended day events, but in particular, this was the first time that the organization incorporated going into Slovenia, going into France, and extending it. And I really wanted to do it because the theme was to discover this region, and I had been there before, but not this extensively. driving through the Alps is you're following the country roads and you're going up and down and following the geometry of the geography, which is something that really struck me because it finally made sense why villages were located where they were located, because they were along a route or they were alongside a river, or there was a reason for it to be there.
So on the rally, we will get up first thing in the morning, we'll meet Jeff for breakfast, we'll get him prepped, we'll get a pin drop as to where the start point is, so he knows exactly where he needs to go in the car to start. We will then jump in the car and we'll proceed to the route. Normally I will be navigating, one of the mechanics will be driving, and I get a route book the same as what they have in the cars, and we follow that and we try and stay within half an hour of Jeff.
Well, normally the Coppa is a winter event, which is a 4-day event where there's lots of snow on the ground. They moved it to the spring because they wanted to extend it to have the drive go through all 7 countries where the Alps traverse. And it was a different experience. The other events, like the Mille Miglia, are very intense regularities. This was more, in many ways, like a mountain tour. They timed it so that you'd have time to stop in a village or town, an important place, stop, get out of your car, be greeted and visited by local residents. And again, I think the theme was to rediscover the Alps. They have unusual challenges, which I didn't appreciate until we drove. They're small villages. They depend upon water for power. They have massive infrastructure challenges because of the roads, of deterioration for the roads over weather. And in many ways, it's kind of like the middle of America. I always say that the middle of America is a forgotten place, and I think the same thing for the Alps. And for me, the theme of this, because I thought about this a lot, that was to communicate to my family, especially my grandkids, that life's not just about speed, it's about finishing, and you want to be there at the end, having accomplished what you set out to do. The Coppa is sort of a poster child for that because of the extensive driving and really the lack of regularity demands. You had time to really enjoy the views, enjoy the people. Every time we stopped, there was something new and different. The scenery is extraordinary. You're driving on roads that are either new or 100 years old. Some roads and mountain passes were cut during World War I, World War II. So your experience changes literally within minutes as you're driving. We drove over a couple of those mountain passes were cobblestone roads. And the other thing that sort of shocked me and shocked Paul was the impact of water. So when we were in Slovenia, the water in that part of the region was pretty good, and so the lakes were filled. There were parts we were in, and I guess as we moved into Italy, where it was dry, where there was not a lot of water, and you could see that the grounds were parched. And sometimes you could see that it was very, very green, and sometimes it was brown and parched, which really goes back to the issue of water.
Okay. Oh. Just hang on. Thank you.
If you were low elevations, it was springtime and there was flowers blooming and it was beautiful. And as you went up the mountain, you went above the tree line and it was kind of barren. And then from there, when you got significantly above the tree line at 6,000 feet, there's snow on the ground. The snow had edged with some brown, which meant that there was melting runoff, but the conditions changed literally, I don't want to say every minute, but the conditions changed pretty rapidly as you're driving. You pull in the evening and all the cars line up, and then families come out. And a young man came with his dad and wanted to know how old the car was. And I said, car's 1955, 70 years old. Wow, how old are you? And I said, I'm 78. He said, you're really old. Can you drive? I said, yeah, I can drive. And here's this kid who's seeing his bit of history.
Is it challenging driving such a vast distance over those kind of roads in a car that's got no power steering or power brakes? A 70-year-old car, is it?
Yeah, it is. You have no time, especially on the Coppa, which was, meandering, vertical changes, hairpin turns, switchbacks, traffic. You don't have any time to do anything else other than focusing on driving. And so the driver is depending upon the co-driver for his or her instructions. You got to have massive trust that when he or she says left switchback coming up, you're preparing for it because you don't have a big screen in front of you like on a modern car. So it's a challenge, and the cars are manual transmissions, by and large drum brakes, which seem to heat up. And you're accelerating and decelerating. I don't know exactly how many on the Coppa, but I don't know how many gear changes we did. Thousands? At the end of at the end of 1,300 miles, you're pretty bushed.
From the day that Jeff said he'd signed up for the Coppa, we start looking at what are we going to need. We've got to look at the weather, what roads we're going to be on. We've got 3 different sets of wheels and tyres for the car. So, we had to look at, are we looking at definite snow on the roads? Do we need studded tyres? Do we need normal winter tyres? The aluminium rimmed wheels, they won't be strong enough for if there's any big holes in the road. Then we also looked at this year, we decided there's a lot of switchbacks. We need to upgrade the brakes, so we fitted disc brakes to the front of it this year. And then you have to go through everything systematically, and how long's that part been on the car? Is it showing any signs of weakness? If it is, it has to be replaced. The ultimate goal is the car has to finish the race.
I was impressed with the people in the towns and how nice everybody was to us, and it's a very different life pace than you see in the cities, and that's what was shocking to me, by the way, Tom, about the Coppa. And Paul, I think, felt the same way, because you're not in a rush like the Millie. The Millie, it's just charging through the countryside as fast as you can go. This was very different, and I think the organization is to be applauded. I wanted to do this particular film with a particular theme. That I have one particular memory of a couple walking who clearly were in their 90s, holding hands. And I think it was, I thought about where it was. I think it was in Vaduz. It reminded me of a saying that my grandmas used to say to me, which is, good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. As you traveled the Alps, you saw families together, multi-generations, great-grandparents, grandparents, father, mother, and children, all together as an intact. And I think it's important that my girls, their kids, Aiden, Riley, Jake, Sarah, Ella, never forget the family, and keep in mind, like I said, good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. And when you look back on your life, you can look back proudly that you've done good things. It's not about money. It's not about power. It's about, did you do something that was good?